But there's a
Yeah.
connection though, like
I
because
don't
even
think,
even
yeah.
no, it
Connection.
is because even if you are in a club or how we used to meet people, right? There's a connection. If you make eye contact from across the
That's like
room.
attraction. That's what you say as attraction.
But
It's not a
I said you
connection.
could. Okay. I just said that you can kind of swap them
'Cause,
out.
okay, would you say like
If somebody say like, okay, there's an attraction, so is an attraction not a connection? No, I want to know.
Yeah, it's.
I think we
I can
should
see
move
where
on.
you. I can see
No,
where
I
you.
want to know.
Yeah, I can
Help
see
me
where you're
out
going.
because if you're not attracted to somebody, right? There's no connection. Yo, what's good, family? Welcome to another episode of the Late Night Traffic Report with your boy, Mr. Sincere.
And I'm your girl, Kay Callie.
And I'm Big Mike.
Tonight we have a good topic. It's GPS, God, purpose, sex. Which one is really driving your life? Many people say they want to live in purpose, they want to live in faith, they want to live with integrity. But let's be honest, the modern culture pulls us in different directions. Tonight, we're going to talk about the tension between spiritual beliefs, personal ambition, and sexual choices, and how people navigate those forces in actual real life. Our lives is always following a direction, regardless if it's faith, desire, or purpose. But the main question we want to ask tonight, which one is actually driving our lives? When we come up as young kids, right? And if we have just people in our house, right? Our mothers, our fathers, whatever your house may look like, right? Some of the things that we often hear, especially from our big mamas or our grandmothers, you want to live in purpose, right? They say you want to follow God. God is at the forefront of everything we do, right? In our community.
Yes,
Typically,
yes.
that's how we're brought up, right? And they said, tell us about building meaningful relationships. Let's talk about that tonight. And let's be honest when we talk about that tonight. How those 2, 3 things, 4 things, whatever your model may be, how does it conflict often in your life? Or how has it often conflicted in your life?
I guess the first thing I would say, I think at different points in your life, I think there's different drivers. I think, you know, as you evolve and grow, I think there's different things that you are or that are you are focused on that kind of become your compass. Where that I think a lot of times as you're younger, depending on how our faith is, a lot of it is desire. You know, desire for things, desire for people, for we're desiring something. And I think as we start to grow, if that's your walk with, you know, whatever your faith is, then it kind of changes to purpose and to God. But I think, you know, a lot of times, I think we start off with desire. And I think it can kind of toggle back and forth depending on what you go through in your life and what experiences. Sometimes you can start off strong in faith, but then something can happen that kind of can unfortunately pull you away, and it can be different drivers. So I think
But
it's kind of a push and pull.
but again, I asked for us to be very honest
I
tonight,
did.
right?
I
Be
was.
honest.
Okay.
Let's keep it tall, right?
Okay.
Let's keep it truthful.
Okay.
I'm not talking about the saved people that sat in these chairs tonight,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You talking about
I'm talking about your
Yeah.
journey,
your journey,
Okay.
and
right?
and with that journey, I'm gonna kind of agree with Kay over there. It's from a man's standpoint, you live the BBD way, the big booty and the smile. You
Mm.
know that those things were spearheading. No matter what was Big Mama was saying, no matter what your parents were saying about having that spiritual foundation,
Mm-hmm.
you were living for the moment. You were letting your
Mm-hmm.
flesh guide you
Yeah.
because you were young, immature. You didn't think you
Yeah.
would get to this point in your life where you were maturing
Mm-hmm.
and other things are going. Oh, the the order of things would change because you living, and that number seems so far, whether it's 30s, 40s, 50s, seems so far away.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
like, man, I'm living for the moment. Uh,
Yeah.
you live, y'all older. So, we wind up chasing our desires. We wind up chasing cat.
Uh,
We wind up chasing those things.
all
And
type of cat.
all kinds of cats, alley cats, house cats,
Okay.
just chasing cats. But
Smooth,
yeah,
hairy.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Like, let's stay focused.
Like you say, let's get back on
Yeah, let's get
Yeah.
back on. So I like the fact that both you all are agreeing with, and I think these are the conversations that people need to have
Mhm.
because oftentimes a lot of our decisions that we made and may continue to make
Yeah.
still today has nothing to do with purpose, has nothing to do with faith, right? Most of them, like you said, from a man perspective, how many years, how much of our youth, and I'm just saying, right, like, going from a teenager to a young man, then getting into your 40s and
Mhm.
whatnot, how many years did we waste chasing cat? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Chasing,
Too many to count.
pitting that race in front of the race that we should have been running,
Correct.
right? Which
Correct.
is the purpose and faith base
Lost time.
lost time, right? And you can't get that back. Um, a lot of decisions are often made off of impulse,
Yes,
right?
I agree.
Um, Decisions are made out of pain, loneliness,
Yeah.
some are made out of resentment, anger.
Mhm.
And then sometimes, even though, I went back and forth on this, but I think it's a reality. When you know better, you do better,
That's a true statement.
right? So what happens when faith, purpose, and desire all point in different directions? Which one do you think people actually follow?
Each individual is gonna be different. Uh, the answer you want to say is they follow their faith and their purpose. But a lot of times it goes back to what you stated earlier: is what is driving them to go different direction? What type of pain? What type of disappointment? What type of distress in their life
Yeah.
is going to dictate a lot of times which direction they go in. And if your foundation is not strong, you're going to make some bad decisions. I think like all of us did.
Yeah.
You're going to make some bad choices.
So let's jump into that and talk a little bit more about that. God and the moral compass.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say something, and this is just my belief, right? I think a lot of people, including myself, one point at a certain point in my life, when I know I just said when you know better, you do better. Sometimes you can know better
And
and
still
still don't do
not do
You still don't
better,
do better.
right? Because I know I found myself, and it took a point of reflection or inflection, should I say, um, that really helped me get my life back on track. Um, Personally having spiritual values that a lot of times in my youth I ignored,
Mm,
right?
that's good.
And so let's just talk about like the difference between belief and actual behavior.
Mm.
Who want to take that?
The difference between belief and behavior.
Yep.
I think a lot of times I think you can believe something and have a belief in a faith, a practice, but then still do behaviors that are opposite of that. Um, and I think I don't know, you may not agree, but I think it's not
It's
a
your opinion.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't. I think it can be both. I don't think it has. I think you can still be a man or a woman of faith and still fall short in ways, have beliefs. I mean, when you let's take the topic of alcohol, of drinking. You know, some faiths say strict no drinking. But you see a lot of, even, in the Christian faith, Baptist churches where, and especially the more younger congregations and ministries, they're not preaching like no alcohol.
They're not preaching a lot of things, and I
You
think
know,
no, and
um,
I'm not.
but when I'm saying, but does that mean that they're not saving souls, they're not bringing people to Christ, that they're not, forward in the kingdom, building the kingdom? I won't say that,
Yeah.
but I think the belief, right, is there, but then the behavior is
And,
different. I mean,
and I agree with you. I just add to your belief is my opinion. Your beliefs are your foundational pillars of your life, and your behaviors are usually kind of emotionally driven
driven.
or
Yeah,
environment culture driven.
yeah, yeah.
But like you said, you can be your beliefs can be very strong, but yet you still can fall into some behavior areas at the same times. Uh, I think my opinion is when you don't have a strong belief system,
Yeah.
you're in trouble because you don't have nothing to come back to.
That
Well,
no compass.
I think yes, I like what you said. I think there's many people that believe in something, but living
Hmm.
something very different.
Yes.
And I can only just talk my talk, share my
Mm.
testimony, my story. Um, from the very beginning, I've always had religion in my life. Let's say that,
Hmm.
right? And I know it's a difference between religion and spirituality, right? I
Yes.
know that, but I had religion in my life as a shorty, and obviously, my life took different turns and things. I was a juvenile delinquent. I was a bunch of different things, right? And never did I not know, or never did I not have my faith. It's just I wanted to do something else. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? Have your cake and eat it too. That's
Yes.
how
Yes.
most
Yes.
people live their lives, if we really be honest,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
We want to take a little bit of this or give a little bit of that. You know what I mean?
Keep a whole lot of
Yeah, and keep a whole lot of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And life it is like a buffet sometimes, right? It can be. It's a whole lot of different choices and stuff. You only have one plate, right? And you
Mhm.
taking things off, you putting things, you passing things. So I think that a lot of people may look at it in that perspective and say, hey, well, I can do this, but as long as I don't do that, and I can come back and I can pray or whatever it is, or I can be in church on Sunday
Yeah.
after you was just in the club getting smutted out Saturday night into Sunday morning, but you got up.
right. Right.
But that's the
Sometimes,
right.
we know like some of the women change their blouse, keep the same skirt on, and go right. No, I'm okay. But right, but my point is
Too
this:
too far.
same with guys. I mean, guys
Yeah.
wake
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
morning,
But
just send all night, and jump up and go. And
it,
I'm not judging, but what I'm saying is, I think a lot of people don't. They don't want to talk about that fight, that
yeah, it's
constant
a, it's
fight.
it's
They don't
constant.
want to talk about, you having the urges
Mhm.
to do things. And I do like what you were saying as well. It's about being disciplined, but it takes a long path to
Correct.
get
Correct.
to that destination.
I think I like what you said. You said one word earlier: journey.
Yeah.
Life is a journey, and no one gets it right the whole journey.
Yeah.
Nobody gets it right the
Right.
whole time. I don't care who you are. It's only one. Jesus the only one get it right.
Yeah.
Everybody else, that journey, no matter how long, you're not gonna get it all right. And you're absolutely right. We all did it. Went to the club, sometimes change clothes and go to church and things like that. But you were in the process of that journey and still trying.
Yeah.
You, so that's not a knock on you. And I'm gonna use something that you said. Religious people will say you're a
Yeah.
bad
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
True followers of Christ will welcome you. Say, I understand, brother. Keep walking that journey
Yeah.
out. it's gonna come a time that's not gonna be an urge of yours.
Right.
But some people want to kick you out for that, and that's not a reason to kick you out. That's a reason to keep encouraging, to keep fighting, and you know.
And I like what you said because I want to be very clear. Like we're talking and we're sharing. Hopefully, we're going to share our stories or
Hmm.
some of our stories. We're not judging or
Oh no,
condemning.
no,
You know what I mean? Because everything that I just described
I
and
did,
everything we talk about,
I did,
I was that person.
I did it.
You know what I mean? So I do think it's important because, again, going back to tonight's topic, GPS, God, purpose, and
Hmm.
sex, right? Those things don't always mesh well together. You know, a lot of times they're out of order.
Got order.
So, like I said, for many people, I think that, our faith, we want that to be our compass,
Correct.
right? But is it really the thing that keeps us grounded? Is it really the thing that keeps us from really giving into our temptation? Because at the end of the day, some people, it's funny when we have these type of conversations and you ask, some people like, oh no, my mind is 100% pure. I never even crossed my mind. Nothing ever. Look, I think all type of things. You know what I mean? And I mean, I'm just keeping it funky. Like, but it's the discipline,
Correct.
right? And it's going back to my faith, my spirituality, saying, hey, you know what I'm saying? It puts things in check for me. It keeps me grounded when emotions get loud.
I think it's also your sense of purpose too, because what I think about, while we do, have faith, but there's some people that um, don't have faith, and that's a personal choice and belief. But I think those people can still walk in and have some type of purpose in life and to their family, to their job, whatever. And I think those things can kind of at that point, maybe be their compass. So I just wanted to, kind of add that out.
S-
Also,
No, you go finish your thought.
um, another thing I was thinking about as we were talking is I think that a lot of times we think that we have more time.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So we go out and we're like, oh, I'm young, I'm gonna go do
Hmm.
this. And it's just your perspective on things. And you think I can, do all that when I get old. You know, always thinking that you have more time in life, I think sometimes draws us to kind of more of the desires and not
That's
letting that
good.
kind of
But
lead us. And the last thing I
Come
was
on,
no,
preach
because
that
that's very
word.
good. You jumping ahead,
Hey,
but
go
you
go.
but go
I
ahead. You
was gonna
do
say
do
go
your
ahead,
thing.
go ahead and preach, preacher. Go ahead and preach.
I think another thing is environment. I think it's, and I think it's not something for me personally. Not that I don't. I mean, I no offense to my long time friends and all of that. They're gonna be watching. Um, but I think as you get older, your environment, or just as you evolve, not
Yeah.
necessarily age, but just
Hmm.
as you evolve on your journey, the environment and the settings that you're in, you're not necessarily your idea of fun is not necessarily going to the club.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It can be,
Going to your patio,
going
inviting some
to a
friends over,
patio,
Yeah.
having some
going
drinks.
watching a podcast,
Yeah.
doing, going to a seminar, going to a museum. Though there are different environments, going to church, watching church online, however you do. But there's different, you have a different circle, a different environment. And I think that also helps ground you and helps be a better compass for you. But I think, a lot of times we don't start off that way
Mm-mm.
a lot
S-
of times.
So let's no, go ahead.
And I was gonna say, even if sometimes I think about people that I know or have crossed in my journey too, sometimes when it is where you started off, you have such a strong foundation, you have strong faith, you're in church, maybe you're, a PK pastor, pastor's kid, you grew up in that.
Those be the worst ones. But go
Because
ahead.
what happens is they have that and then they want to get out and they're like, and they get freedom and they want to do things, but that faith and that purpose probably never leaves them, but they probably want to kind of get out and venture out and see a different side of things.
And PKs,
But a lot of times they,
PKs get out. I don't know what you talking about. PKs get out a lot, and they
but
be
they
the
always
ones to
come
be in the
back.
church.
Right.
Shoot.
So what I'm
But
saying is, it just, no matter, I guess the point I'm trying to make, and then I'll stop. I think no matter how you start off, whether you grow up in a strongly faith-based home and purpose,
mhm.
or whether you don't have that, I think desire to, it's maybe like almost like human nature to want to learn and explore and understand things. It's not that you're not it's not that you don't care about your belief or your purpose, but I think it's just almost like an innate desire to not necessarily do bad things, deviant things, but it's honestly just to explore and
Yeah.
learn and try new things and figure out
And
what is all out here. Like you said, all this
mm,
stuff is out here. So
I agree. Everything you said, you was preaching that word. But it, somebody that's watching, the quicker you find your purpose,
mhm. Yeah.
I mean, really identify your purpose, your walk on that journey becomes easier
Yeah.
because the biggest compromise in life is comparison.
Mm.
So once you find that journey, you're not comparing what nobody else do, how they enjoy life. You're like, man, this is my purpose,
Yeah.
and I'm not deviating. Um, and usually that purpose is going to align with God's purpose for your life. And when you do that, you don't care what nobody else doing. You're like,
Right.
man, y'all going to the club? I'll be your designated driver. I'm not gonna go in. I'll come back and get y'all. Why? And it's not saying the club is wrong. It's just how you utilize your purpose. And I'm just giving an
Yeah.
example. Uh, so to how important that purpose, finding that purpose.
So let's kind of frame it again. So faith, God is the moral compass.
Mm-hmm.
Purpose is the life direction,
Mm-hmm.
right? So purpose is the thing that gives us our life direction, but purpose requires discipline,
Correct.
right? And discipline doesn't always present a feel good moment or moments, right? So, to what both of you all were saying, sometimes like, you grow in different spaces, in different phases,
Mm-hmm.
right? And sometimes you outgrow friends, sometimes you outgrow acquaintances, right? And I always tell young men, when you find your life direction, your purpose,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're gonna have to make a choice. You have to make a choice of being on the scene or off the scene.
Mm.
Okay,
You see what I'm saying?
that's good.
And no, you do. You
Yeah, it's
you have to
good. It's
fade to
good.
black. You have to kind of disappear.
You make some choices.
You gotta, even if you were that guy that was in a club every weekend or out and about every weekend or 3 times a week, when you find your life direction and your purpose, um, you can't be out,
No.
Yeah.
right? Because and I think that's the problem that so many young men fall victim to. And I'm using those words intentionally because I think it's so much pressure for you to be out and about and to amass wealth at such an early age and be able to compete. And, we talk about this all the time about the impact of social media. But I think, not that I think what I know, one thing I had to do is, when I was pursuing, my graduate degrees and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I'd never really been a party guy, but I would go out, you know what I
Right.
mean? But you can ask all my friends, I kind of faded to black. They had to call me, ask me, you in the witness protection? You in WITSEC or what? But no, I wasn't. I was just really focused on my purpose,
Right.
the direction that,
Yeah.
the things that I was building, my family, getting married, being the best father I could be to my
Mm-hmm.
oldest son at the time and getting my education right.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And you can't be all out in the club and partying and being out on the scene. You got to be in the house on hitting them books,
Yeah.
politicking, networking,
Absolutely.
getting you a mentor,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's what you got to do because you kind of have to model your life after those mentors which you aspire to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I think that's the That's the hurdle that a lot of people face when when you find life your life direction. It's hey, it's a very unpopular decision because everybody else for women, doing brunches Thursday to Sunday, you know what I mean, hanging out and club and doing whatever what women do, same with men.
With me.
And then you're gonna have to say, no, I'm not doing it. And then you're gonna lose some friends over that
Oh yes.
for whatever reason. So I think it's really, how you let, your purpose and your life direction, how ambition, um, it's really calls you to shape meaningful relationships.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of people are, you know, that's a struggle for them, right?
Absolutely.
Because when you think about, you know, personal goals versus spiritual goals, they don't always
They don't always
align.
align. They don't always
You see what
align.
I'm saying? We talked about, purpose. We talked about the moral compass. What does it look like pitting both of those together? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
which one comes first? Is there a particular order? Can you find your life direction without having that moral compass?
Can you find a direction like that having that moral
Yeah,
compass?
because we've identified something that we have in common, which what we do is kind of grounded in.
Hmm.
But what if somebody, to your point earlier,
Yeah.
they don't? What is it that gives them their life direction, their purpose? Is it an experience? Is it what do
I
you think
think
it
it's
is?
very. I think in that case, I mean, I don't know. They would have to, probably be more of the authority on this, but I would say it would have to be their connection to people. I think
Okay.
our human connection keeps us grounded and a lot of times can act as our moral compass. But your question was, can you have which comes first? Life, your kind of life direction or your moral compass? That's what you said. I think they can happen maybe I was gonna say the moral has to come first, but I almost think they can happen kind of the life direction can happen first or kind of at the same time, but they have to kind of for you to stay on course, I think they have to be in parallel at some point.
At some point,
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
going to say that
yeah.
because I think we all either know someone or know someone that in the circle where they may not have the same moral compass or direction as you,
Mhm.
but they driven
Hmm.
Mhm.
and chasing success and that side,
Yeah.
and that's first for them. But they on track. They're not in the clubs. They're not doing the crazy things that the world would
Mhm.
consider crazy. But they're driven by their success and having the finer things. And I'm just using the
Mhm.
materialistic things. But like Kay said, at some point, something's gonna happen where it's
Yeah.
gonna align the two together. Whether it's illness,
Hmm.
whether it's God allowing something to happen in your
Losing all
life,
those
losing the
yeah.
material, something is going to get you back on track to get your life in the right order.
Let's talk about the emotional driver, which is desire.
Mm, that flesh.
Let's talk about the emotional driver, which is desire.
Mm, that flesh.
So, what's the first thing that comes to each of your minds when we say desire? What does that mean to you?
Um, I I think is like sexual.
Really? You just jumped straight to
It's the
okay.
sex.
I'm sorry. Oops.
when
Too soon?
the, as you for me,
Oh, go
as I mature, desire is not just a one like sex on. It's anything that takes you
ahead. Yeah.
off of your purpose.
I like that.
Anything that's
Good
going to take you
answer.
off your purpose, that's a desire. You know you shouldn't be doing it, but you
Yeah.
desire it, and it's going to take you off your purpose, and That's a desire to me. Anything, whether it's
So
sex, alcohol, the club, whatever it
Yeah,
is,
money, like
money.
the love of like
yeah,
making more money, and or it turns into gambling. To yeah, so that's true.
why do you think sometimes desire overrides values?
Because the emotional piece, like what you start, when you brought that up, I think it's because it's something driving us internally.
Mhm.
And I think until we deal with that, or have the moral compass to drive us to know that that's not what we need to
Mhm.
be feeding that desire, it's gonna keep coming
And
up. It's gonna
and it satisfies your flesh. It
yeah,
satisfies
for
your
the
emotion.
Temporarily.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That
temporary,
Yeah.
temporary satisfaction of your emotions and your flesh.
right?
It, that's something you can taste, feel, and all that stuff. It's tangible.
Tangible,
Uh,
whereas the other
the other
things you have to
side,
wait.
yep.
You have to wait for things, things that are within your purpose or with faith. Sometimes, people say, I'm praying, but God's not
Yeah, it don't come when
answering.
you
It's,
want it.
you don't
But
see it,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't taste it, and things
I,
of that nature.
I think also when I think of desire, and it's similar to what both of you all are saying, but I'm just going to use some different words,
Mm-hmm.
right? Desire to me, it's attraction,
okay.
Mm-hmm.
it's chemistry
Mhm.
that influences choices, right? For whatever reason,
I don't
right?
know if I would agree with chemistry.
No, it's chemistry, right? Because, I
Are you
mean,
sure?
you could go down the route that you brought up first, sex, right? I'm going to go a slightly different route. I'm going to talk about money and the pursuit of it, right? There's an attraction. If you get it, there's a chemistry for the things that you can do with it. So that's why I said,
Mm,
like, it influences choices, right? And in your quest or your lust for this money
okay.
or to acquire material
Mm-hmm.
things. So that's why I said that.
Okay.
What do you think the difference is between connection and impulse?
Connection, impulse. Connection and impulse.
I mean, we're human. We have both,
Yeah, we've got both.
right?
Difference between the two, though.
So
Do you think it's a difference between, is there a difference between connection and impulse? Do you think
Co-
it is?
Connection is something that
They're different, but
they're different, but
yeah, they're
I mean,
different.
connection is something that can take time. Like if we're using human beings, our connection
building
can take time to build
a
that true
rapport.
rapport and connection with each other. Where impulse is, hey, I seen her, I like her.
So I like how you broke that down because that's where I wanted to go.
Okay.
It's the same thing when I talked about attraction and
Mhm.
chemistry.
I was gonna say
I think you
impulse
can,
is like attraction.
yeah, I
Right?
think you
Mhm.
can swap them out,
That's like
right?
instant.
Attraction and chemistry,
Mhm.
and then connection and impulse.
Mhm.
Like you said, I see, I gotta have it.
Gotta have.
Oh, and then connection.
T-
No,
connection. Like my opinion, connection.
no, I'm just messing with you.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I mean, it could be.
it
I
could
think
be.
that I think it depends on what the desire is,
Yeah.
right?
Who's the
know,
person?
Yeah.
Taking time to build a connection.
Yeah.
Most of the time, connections are not impulse. They
No.
take time because when you say I'm connected to somebody, you getting to
I
know
don't
that
I don't
person.
know. I disagree. So
But
I think you both are taking it a layer deeper than where I'm taking it.
Oh, okay, we'll break it down.
Like if I say I seen her and I had to have her, it's a
no,
connection and I'm acting
he
on
on
impulse.
He on
All the
impulse.
connection is when we
He on impulse. He in connection land.
connection is
That's not connection.
oh
That's
yes
impulse.
That's impulse.
no
That's you acting
no
on an
I'm
impulse.
acting on
Impulse.
impulse.
That's not a
We're
connection.
connected in that moment. Think of
Mm,
somebody else will get what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying.
That's a connection,
There's a
right?
different. Okay, there's a
If
different
I
use of the
want
term.
her and she goes with the play, she wants me.
Okay.
That's a connection. And we're both acting off an impulse without knowing anything outside of each other, out of what we see presently or the 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or however long it took take me to bed.
How many? Now, let me back.
Not 10 minutes.
How many times?
A whole
Not
encounter.
necessarily
15
you,
minutes.
No, I
but
speak
you,
facts, bro.
but you could have been one person that did that, but you know some homeboys that, man, I acted impulsively, man. Oh, girl, they never mentioned the word connect. It was always I acted impulsively.
But there's a
Yeah.
connection though, like because
I don't
even
think, yeah.
even no,
Connection.
it is because even if you are in a club or how we used to meet people,
Mhm.
right? There's a connection. If you make eye contact from across the
That's like
room,
attraction. That's what you said as far as attraction.
but I
It's not a
said you
connection.
could. Okay, I just said that you can kind of swap them
'Cause,
out.
okay, would you say like
If somebody say like, okay, there's an attraction, so is an attraction not a connection? No, I want to know.
Yeah, it's.
I think we
I can
should
see
move
where
on.
you. I can see
No,
where
I
you.
want to know.
Yeah, I can
Help
see
me
where you're
out
going.
because if you're not attracted to somebody, right, there's no connection. And what I'm talking about is a connection is me and this woman could lock eyes across the room.
We should use other examples.
Okay. A
I'm
woman
a-
and a man can lock eyes from across the room. Don't know anything about each other.
Mhm.
Okay.
There's a connection there. I believe that. I know that for a fact. These things happen. And then
Okay.
and then both people act on impulse
Mhm.
and do what people do when they
Lust.
desire.
Mhm.
Lust.
Whatever you want to call it. So that's what I'm saying when it's about connection and impulse.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
could.
That's one example, but it can be a
Okay,
lot
it
of
could be a
different
lot,
things.
a lot of different examples.
You know what I mean? It can be a lot of different things that you're talking about. Like
Okay.
you can be an impulsive spender. You like to buy things. You like to
Oh, yeah.
acquire
And then
things.
you
You
have a
feel like there's a
connection with
connection.
that car, so you have
You
to
have a
buy
connection
it.
to a car. It could be a watch. It could be a piece. It could be whatever. You feel that you have a
Okay.
connection. I'm
and
not saying that
you
it actually has
you
to
have a
be one.
connection, then you see another car,
That you have another
another
connection.
Did you have another connection?
Yes.
Then you have
Okay.
the means, you buy another car.
Yes.
I can see
But
what
you're acting off an impulse.
Impulse.
you kind of drew me slightly on that side. You kind of drew me to your side a little bit.
So, like I said earlier, right? I think a lot of people underestimate desire.
Oh.
Desire is powerful.
Yeah.
It's human, right? We all have it,
Mhm.
right? And without that discipline, desire can start driving decisions instead of your guiding light, your moral compass. Things get complicated
Desires.
when you let desire
It can,
run.
ru-
Oh, if desire becomes your moral compass,
Right.
it can
it gets
ruin
really
your. It can ruin your
complicated.
life.
Yeah.
Would you do you think that sometimes like people are drawn to desire? And I think we kind of touched on this, but just something that just I thought about is that sometimes I think the desire for things can also help people feel like more alive.
Yeah, but if it's not grounded in your moral compass, then it's a
Mhm.
road to destruction.
No, I know, but it's that instantaneous. It's like a rush. It's almost like in some ways people can take it as like a high. They're not
Right.
Oh, for
something
sure.
It
there,
is.
where there's money. It doesn't always have to be sex, but it can be sex. It can be, you know, shopping addiction, whatever it is. I think because it makes people, it's an instant gratification in ways,
Mhm.
but then you gotta go and you gotta do it again, do it again, and then each
It
time
becomes an
you
It
probably
addiction.
become an
get
addiction. I was
bigger
gonna
and
say.
bigger, and yeah.
So what happens when these three things collide and they're not properly aligned? So again, God is the moral compass, or faith is the moral
Mhm.
compass. Purpose is life's direction.
Mhm.
And desire is the emotional driver. What happens when those things are not in order, are out of bound, or you're leading with the desire, the emotional driver versus the other two? What happens?
Find yourself in. You find yourself really, and I'm just talking from experience. You find yourself really chasing everything emotionally and material, and it's gonna come to a point where it's all gonna crumble.
Mm.
And the example is when I use foundation, it's like me being from Louisiana, Hurricane Alley.
Mhm.
Some houses don't have a good foundation, so when that hurricane comes and the wind comes, that
Oh,
house everything is gone.
yeah.
Some homes, most of it is gone, but the foundation is still
Still
there.
there.
So you can rebuild.
Build. Yeah.
And that's the proper, it was built proper, that proper order from the ground up. When you reverse that and things crumble, what do you go back to?
Mm.
Yeah.
Where do you find yourself? You find yourself in a dark place. That's you find yourself in depression or low self-esteem, some type of emotional distress area
Yeah.
because you're out of order.
Yeah.
So it's important to have it right. And I know Kay Callie said something that was very powerful. When you're young, you say I got more time,
Get it right.
but unless you talking to God and He
Right.
give you the direction and say, man, you gonna live till you're 150, so you
Right.
got plenty of time. You don't know how much time you have.
I think a lot of people, at some point in your life, and maybe some people battle with it their entire lifetime. And I think it's probably the latter. I think we all battle with this, right?
Oh yeah.
No matter how much we feel like we got our lives together, no matter how mature we feel spiritually, mentally, physically, whatever the case may be. I think most of us are torn between what we believe, what we want, and who we're trying to become. Because that's hard to get all of that aligned the right way, no matter what age you are. And I think, like I said, I think everybody has that challenge. I think some people have figured out how to manage it better than others.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I guess do we actually need to get it all aligned, or do we need to get it where it's in an order?
I don't know. I mean, because I think that's kind of like the same thing. You put it. I
Somewhat.
think that
I,
I think we have to be conscious of it. I think
yeah.
being conscious, being aware, that allows growth to occur.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess, and I guess this is not what we've been saying or the message that we're sending, but all three are always going to be present.
Yes.
And I guess that's
Absolutely.
what I mean. We have to learn how to navigate them all
Mm-hmm.
in ways and put them in the right perspective, because I do think when we do talk about like the desire piece, I think that is just to some degree, I feel like it's a part of our natural human experience to some degree.
But
But I think and people are maybe disagree. I mean, but I think the overindulgence of things and what those it can be, that is what I think is not healthy. But I think maybe it's you have a desire to, I don't know, go skydive and doing something where it's the thrill of something
But
that is not necessarily,
I like
that's not bad.
I like where you're going because I think we
Do you
kind of
understand where I'm
no
going?
no 100%.
Okay.
I think because we kind of put a negative connotation
I
on the
guess
word
that's what
desire
exactly. I guess that's where yeah.
because we all have bad and good
Good desires.
I
desires.
guess
Yes.
that's where
Your
I'm
desire could be to be a more faithful, a more obedient steward
Yeah.
of the
You,
Lord,
yeah.
right?
yeah.
It could be a lot of things.
Yeah.
It could be to
Be
be a
better,
community activist, to be a mentor,
to be a,
uh,
to be a better man,
to
a
just
better
be a better
woman,
man, a better husband, a
a better
better
woman.
wife, a better
Yeah.
mom, a better. It could be a lot of things, and I think we immediately just jump
The bad.
to the bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think that's very important, and I think we talked about this a lot tonight. Like that's the internal conflict that we all walk around
Yes.
with each and every day. Because, like I said, I mean, I don't know about you two, but again, when you talk about things to run through your mind, everything to run through your mind is not um, praising the Lord. Everything that you run through your mind is not positive. Everything that run through your mind is not, being an advocate of faith. It's just not. We're human. You know what I mean? And I think again, if you're conscious and you're aware, and you find a if you find a method to deal with it,
Hmm.
right, to manage it, and I think that's the key thing that we all have to do, right? Because everybody is imperfect. Nobody's perfect, right? So these things that we have, these desires, these thoughts that we have, um, if you have your moral compass, always be able to, be able to come back home to that.
Right.
And then for your purpose, having discipline
Hmm.
not to do it, because that's really what it is. Each of us, and okay, I know you all don't want to be associated with anything negative or anything.
Ooh,
You too. So what I'm saying
what
is,
happened?
what I'm saying is, for those people, right,
Mm-hmm.
who have these challenges and walk that walk, right?
Okay.
We them people.
Okay. I wasn't sure because when I was saying, when
We
I was telling my
are.
story earlier,
What
y'all was
story you was
looking.
telling?
You're not even paying attention.
Man, I'm telling you, what story where we didn't agree with you, man. We all got, we all got our vices.
Yeah.
Just
We
cause,
do.
just 'cause people, I think people get it confused. Because I don't see your vice
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
mean you don't have a
Have one.
vice.
Yeah.
And
Everybody has one.
and I keep going back to it, a lot of people, whether it's religious people, whatever, they like to judge.
Yes.
And just because
Yeah.
I don't see yours
Don't
Yeah.
mean it
and
don't
you see
exist.
Yeah,
mine, don't
Yeah.
mean you don't
just
have them.
because
Yeah.
Because we all have
just
them. And like you
because
For
said,
sure.
we all got thoughts that are coming to our mind.
Yeah.
The word of God tells us that.
Yeah.
But it's what you say and what you believe
What you act on.
and what you act on.
Yeah.
Because it's going to come because the enemy's going to tempt you with those
Oh,
things.
for sure.
And if he's not tempting you, that means you too deep in it. He like,
Yeah.
man, I don't even have to tempt you no more.
Right.
You
Yep.
doing it on your
Already
own.
got him.
And I think when it comes down to vices, like a lot of times we give up one thing, what do? We replace it with something
With
else.
Something else. Yeah.
You know?
Let's jump into a rapid fire
Rapid
segment. Now this is becoming a favorite for our viewers.
Okay.
They hit me in the chat and said again, remind both of them
Huh?
to be quick,
They did say that.
but to be honest.
Oh, okay.
They told you that?
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Somebody check
For
the chat.
sure.
Let me check the chat.
All right, so let's ask the first question, right?
Okay.
Do your daily choices reflect your values?
Most times.
Most of the time.
Okay, that's fair. Have you ever ignored your purpose for temporary pleasure?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can desire exist without distracting from purpose?
Can die.
Can
Tired.
desire exist without distracting from purpose?
Sometime.
Yeah, I think
I
so.
say
Do people talk about faith more than they practice it?
I can't speak about people.
I'll say
I'm gonna say yes.
I'm-
I'm not. Strike that. I can't. Okay.
you're
I'm
not
gonna-
supposed to be
I'm gonna say it's a strong possibility.
We see it. We
Yeah,
know
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
I say generally.
Not all people, but yeah, we do see it.
All right. Last question. Is it possible to balance faith, ambition, and healthy relationships all at once?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Tell the chat. Look at chat. He asked some hard questions tonight, so I know we went fast.
So tonight's episode, GPS, God,
Mhm.
purpose, sex. That's what life is like
Yeah.
when you think about it, right? We all try to set a destination, but the roads that we choose, we don't know what's on those roads a lot of
Mhm.
times. We don't know what's on those paths. But nevertheless, they still matter. Faith might set the direction, purpose might set the destination, but our daily decisions always determine whether we are actually arrive on time or at all. What is a few things that you want the viewers to walk away from tonight? And share something that we didn't talk about, but relevant to the topic.
Mhm.
Because I think that'll be a great way to kind of close the episode.
Okay.
And I put y'all on the spot, but
Yeah. It's
I'll let-
all good.
I'll let you go first, Big Mike.
No, I like the whole topic. And on that journey, and here's my comment. On that journey, like you said, you're on a journey, but sometimes there's going to be some detours. And when that detour comes, just don't quit. It doesn't mean you're not going to get to your destination. It just means there's some construction going on ahead. And the detour is going to take you around that. And a lot of times in life, when we hit that detour, we give up,
Yeah.
or we get negative thoughts, and God is not with me, and that's not the case. It's just a detour to get you to the same location, but to get you stronger.
He's actually more with you than ever.
Yeah, and it's only going to strengthen you. And my thing is, just don't quit.
Yeah.
Don't quit. Don't quit on God. Don't quit on yourself.
Yeah.
Because when you quit, what you getting out of it?
Yeah.
Nothing. So that's mine.
Facts.
I think I would just say that somewhat of what I mentioned earlier, but I'll expound on it, is that we have to have direction in our life, no matter what. And I think GPS is very, very obviously fitting when we're talking about direction. I think that if you're only living kind of in that desire, you won't go far. And even if you're in a space where you're kind of just more in that desire space where you're acting off of your emotions and impulse, to piggyback off of something said Big Mike, God is still with you. He's still protecting you, still there with you. And really is just waiting for you to understand his path and to follow his path. But he's never, obviously, leaving your side, but it's up to you to kind of follow the direction that you need to go. But I think in order to have a purposeful life, you do need to.
I like that. I like that a lot. I like both the guys' final outtakes. I think keeping those three together, as we said, right? Having faith as your moral compass, purpose, learning your life direction,
Mm-hmm.
then desire, not letting it be the emotional negative.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's just simple, right? Well, I'll take it back. Because life is very complex. It's not a simple thing. But what I would say is just understand that our beliefs set the map, but our choices decide the. So, again, what I would ask is to all our viewers, what's really guiding your life right now? Is it faith, purpose, or desire, or a combination? Until the next episode, stay sturdy, choose wisely, and we'll catch you in traffic. Hey.
Peace.